The pandemic has put the pressure on content creators to try new and innovative ways to share their stories. From musicians to comedians, some have turned to Patreon to do just that. The platform helps those creators get paid directly from their fans. Joining us now is Patreon CEO Jack Conte. Jack, great to have you with us here today. Congrats on your latest funding round, your largest one to date. $90 million, valuing your company at more than $1.2 billion. So it is clear that the pandemic has fueled creator and investor interest in your platform, but how do you plan to keep that momentum going?
Well, there's three things that we're working on and have been working on for a while. The first is international. Oh, let me turn my notifications off here. The first is international. The second is improved patron experiences, and then the third is starting to help creators find new patrons and starting to help patrons find creators that they love to support. So we've got an awesome roadmap of those things planned, and I think it's going to be really amazing for creators.
Yeah, I think on that notion of helping creators and fans discover each other and connect, on your page for video creators, it says you can help them build a predictable revenue stream that doesn't rely on ads or algorithms. So I do think of algorithms when I think of these kind of matching features. How do you ensure that creators are promoted, fans are connected to them in an unbiased fashion, and you really are giving a diverse array of creators a chance?
Yeah, we've done a great job to date of getting creators paid. So creators have now earned over $2 billion on Patreon. And yesterday we announced that in a few months they're going to be making a little over $1 billion a year on the platform, which is so exciting. And I think that the future is really bright for creators. In terms of the algorithms that govern platforms, as a creator myself, honestly, I've been really gutted by the way I've been treated on distribution platforms. I'm in a band called Pomplamoose. I'm in another band called Scary Pockets. We released over 100 music videos last year, and I feel like I'm constantly separated from my fans on these other platforms. I make a post on Facebook and I reach 1% of my audience. I make a post on YouTube and I reach a tiny portion of my subscribers. And the way that platforms these days separate fans and creators, honestly sucks, and it's one of the things that Patreon is solving. We deliver 100% of a creator's posts to 100% of their fans 100% of the time. Like there's no getting around that. And if a creator isn't happy with the way Patreon is helping them interact with their fans, we're an open platform and we allow folks to launch Discord communities or integrate with MailChimp and connect with their fans on other platforms. We are an open platform. We give creators literally the email addresses of their patrons. We don't view those folks as our users. There are creators customers. There are creators patrons. That's a big distinction.
Yeah, and Jack, when those patrons do find the creators, it sounds like they truly do own that relationship. But what I'm curious about is how you get to that point where a creator feels like they don't have the fan base that they expected or want yet. How do you create those connections? How does that manifest itself without using the kinds of algorithms that, say, these other platforms might use?
So right now, the way that it's working is creators are launching on Patreon. They're going on to, YouTube. They're going on to Facebook. They're going on to SoundCloud. And they're saying, hey, everybody, I have a Patreon page. Come over here. Come follow me over here on Patreon. And it's working great. And it's amazing for creators who already have established audiences. But one of the things we want to do is get better at providing creators value, not just in the software that we create and not just in the fact that we're helping creators, make money, but also helping creators find new patrons that are already on the platform. At this point, we have over 6 million patrons on Patreon, and they're supporting over 200,000 creators. And so we want to help, those patrons find those creators better. That means improved search and discovery tools. It means improved explore experiences. It means focusing on discovery in a way that honors and preserves the relationship that a creator has with their fans.
Yeah, and Jack, it does really feel like Patreon has been a pioneer in allowing creators to directly monetize their fans without having to rely, as you mentioned, on things like advertising. But we are seeing other social platforms like TikTok, for example, promising billions of dollars to their creators over the next couple of years. Do promises like that detract from your business? Are you kind of worried about other social platforms being more proactive in paying out their users? How does that really impact you?
So first of all, as a creator myself, I think it's incredible. It's about time that distribution platforms start thinking about the financial implications of their platforms. and start thinking about how to get creators paid, because creators are building so much value. In fact, these platforms are in many cases built on the backs of creators who are reaching millions of fans and having incredible positive impact around the world, and creators aren't even being paid for that. So first of all, I'm so excited to see platforms starting to actually take this problem seriously and starting to think about monetization tools and better monetization tools for their creators. I still think Patreon's the best game in town. I'm a little bit biased, but I do think we're the best game in town in terms of price. You know, Patreon charges, most creators are on our 8% plan. You know, YouTube, Facebook charge 30%. Others charge as much as 50%. So, you know, we treat creators like entrepreneurs. They want a fairly priced product. They want transparency. We also allow creators to own their audience, right? So we provide creators with the email addresses of their customers. How can you run a small business without a relationship with your customers, without the email addresses and contact information of your customers? On those other platforms, you don't get to do that, and that's a core tenet of Patreon. And then I think the real secret sauce underneath the whole thing is just Patreon's creator-first culture. At the company, we've hired people who bleed for creators. They will go to the ends of the earth and back to help creative people. And it's that DNA about Patreon that just makes us special. I think manifests in every decision, every line of code that we write, every email that we respond to. That creator centrism and that creator firstness is just a key part of Patreon's culture.
That makes sense. Jack, thank you so much for your time. Congrats on the raise. That's Patreon CEO Jack Conte. Thanks again.